right, FightHype.com here, one of the best trainers in the game, my man Derrick James. Derrick, man, got Ryan Garcia against Duarte. Aggressive style, good style for your fighter, though.
Right. I mean, Duarte's a heck of a fighter. You know what I mean? He's comes with a lot of tenacity. He's a tough fighter, and he's a fighter, like a fighter's fighter. So I mean, this will be a good fight.
Ryan's always had these incredible physical gifts. Punches hard, super fast, tall. So how much do you think some of your trademarks as a trainer, high guard, disciplined jab, just that alone, how much do you think that can grow him as a fighter, make him better?
I think it could help him, and I think that it takes him to the next level of a skill set, because he's at the highest from a celebrity and a boxing level. But I think that the more and more we get together, the more and more we work, the more and more skill set will be enhanced.
Derrick, you know, having him in your camp now, having him for a couple of months now, what have you adjusted or helped him adjust, you know, coming, you know, from Goose or the training that he had previously versus Tank? What's the little things that you adjusted? Because I know I've seen you in the videos, you know, just using his jab more, using his angles a little bit more, going back to the foundations, really.
Well, you know, really, I can't really get into that other than what you saw. But what I'll say is that he's good, man. He's gonna be working. He's got working on a skill set and being continuous, instead of having dead time and space in between. We'll hopefully create everything we need to do.
You were a fighter, obviously. What have you told Ryan, you know, coming off that loss versus Gervonta? Because, you know, some fighters do beat themselves up. It's hard to bounce back. And mentally, they're like, you know, have a lot at stake.
Right.
Duarte right now is 21 knockouts. Right. 26 fights. Right. It's a tough fight. What have you told him?
It's in the past. You can't live in it, because you can't move forward if you're stuck in that particular space. That's real life. So don't worry about it. Keep it moving and just stay focused. And that's basically what he's been doing.
Did you see things that you already talked about him with in the Gervonta fight? It seemed like he was doing well for a round and a half and went kind of crazy, gave up his height.
Right. I never referenced that, because that's in the past. I mean, I don't want him to live in that space.
Right.
I want him to move forward. I mean, we have conversations all the time, and it's so much about boxing instead of, you know, yelling and being demanding. He's like, no, I'm just talking to him, and he understands what I want him to do.
Go ahead, Ryan.
There's a lot of fights potentially for Ryan after this.
Right.
I know you don't look ahead, fighters don't look ahead, but you know, there's always the rumblings and the talking. Oscar Duarte has mentioned possibly even getting a fight against in February for Super Bowl. What fight interests you the most? You know, there's the Rolly fight, there's the Teofimo, then we also have the winner of those Regis and programs. It could be easier to make due to the networks. What fight is the one that you're like, yeah, this is the one that I like the most?
Hey man, I want what he wants, because I don't really do that part. I don't do the picking of the opponents and everything. I want what he wants, and I go from there. So whatever it is that he wants, whatever he desires, that's what we go at.
Does any part of you want to say, let's take it slow, man? Why the rush to jump right back into a big fight? Let me get some fights with you.
Well, I think that, yeah, I mean, in a perfect world, that would be what I could say. But in reality, it's like you get a guy who's at the highest level, right? He just comes off a world championship bout. You take a fight like this, it's not really, you just got to start rolling. Keep rolling and keep work with the skill set and enhancing, because you can't really, there's no going back in boxing. When you get so far ahead, you got to keep pushing. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference between boxing and so many other things, that you can go start over or do whatever. Boxing, you got to keep rolling, so I have to keep doing my thing.
Is this the most, you know, not necessarily skilled, but the most gifted fighter you've worked with, speed and power? Just that natural talent.
Man, everybody's equal. Everybody's like got a similar. They just don't show it all the time. But no, I mean, I think everybody's equal. You know what I mean? I think everybody's equally fast, power. Yeah, I mean, so I don't. You know, it's like kids, man. What you talking about, man? You trying to start something?
No, it's just, that's always
kids. Yeah, which one's your favorite child?
Yeah.
No, man, they all the same.
Yeah. Always the first one.
I love them all the same.
Well, you know, you won Trainer of the Year last year, and now this year, you know, things have been tough in some big fights.
It's light. Yeah.
How do you respond?
You gotta keep it moving.
1 minute they build you up, the next minute
it really isn't the 1 minute they didn't do anything. I did it.
Right.
With my consistency.
Built yourself
you know
up. Right.
Winning, Errol winning 11 years in a row. Jamil been a champ for 8 years. Errol been a champ for 7 years. Having been the only champion in the world for the last 4 years with 2 unified champs. Then Jamel became undisputed. So nobody did nothing. Nobody built me up. I did it myself with the work that I put in. So in reality, I think that when people say Heidi won Trainer of the Year, just look, being so consistent. You know Jamel Charlo, Errol Spence? It's because of Jamel been the champ for 8 years, Errol's been the champ for 7 years, and even before then, when Rob Brandon took him to the #1 contender, then he became champ after that. But I wasn't with him in the corner, but took him to the #1 contender. So it's like being consistent. So when people say that, like, hey man, I don't care because nobody built me up. I did it.
What are the highs and lows like though, if
It's
at all?
life.
Are you?
It's not put like this.
Yeah.
It's life. You think about this, and getting to where you want to be, and getting. Hey man. I just. I'm not. I sorry. Hey. So listen, but and getting where you want to be is always is life. You know what I mean? Everybody. If you think about this, I took a loss, then a win, then a loss. So what happens is this: is that people lose every day. So if I take a loss 1 month after the other, 2 in 1 year, that's unfortunate, but it's the game, it's the life. I mean, what do you say? I'm not crying about it because like when Errol lost to Crawford, I had to go do with Joshua 2 weeks later.
Right.
I had to leave the next day to go do that, and I had to let it go. You got to compartmentalize these situations and keep it moving.